Hello there, Pineapple Juice. What was Richard Hart's plan with PulseChain? You see, look, I am not him himself, but I kind of figured it out. And once I tell you the story quickly, you will eventually see, oh, that makes sense. I wish I kind of played out that way. So, of course, it all started with Hex. Now, this is the linear chart that you see. If you put it on a log chart, otherwise known as cope mode, you get to see that at one point, okay, Hex had an adoption amplifier here, and everybody went down 98%. So this is a traditional Richard Hart launch where he does really good marketing, he gets everybody's money in, and then it launches low, thin liquidity, and basically everyone gets wrecked, okay? Whether it's unintentional or not. So everybody gets wrecked, it's down 98%. So the theory is, so it's pretty much 98%, you get to see. Okay, the theory is that if you let the weak hands out immediately, they basically, instead of selling for $10,000, they have to sell for $200. And then they transfer into strong hands who believe. And that's basically what happened. Okay, so the strong hands collect these, and some people in the Hex community did get this part. Then there was a giant pump, which obviously hasn't happened in PulseChain. Maybe, friends, Richard was trying to do this, but the market cap was too big. That's it. You saw him inject $14 million into PulseX. We could not get this pump. You want to see how big this absolute pump was, friends? I'll just show you right now. This pump from this low was enormous. That's 100x. It did 100x from the low. And even if you look at it, friends, from, let's say from the adoption amplifier with like basic staking, you went up 5x. So PulseChain should have, I mean, that's what we're expecting. I mean, I remember drawing the fractals here. It should have been, if we were to match Hex, it should have been 5x above day one sack. So this is where we should have been right now. We should have been up here. Once again, we are much lower. How much lower? We're down 83% lower than where we should be if you were to go back. Now, people are going, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Friends, just too many people are in. There's not nothing like, that's what's wrong. Remember, they're meant to buy low, sell high. You get to get in early. When no one believed in Hex back then, but Richard knew he had the competitive edge, right? In this scenario, he's like, well, I know I'm a billionaire. I know I'm going to pump it. So that's pretty much what it came down to. Now, what happens is, remember, friends, Hex is very thin. The liquidity is thin, but it's the same as many other coins. It's thin. And as we go up, Hex starts moving up. You probably see this chart like, wow, that's going up to the moon. But if you want to see the real chart of what happened, you look at Hex ETH, all right? Because Hex was raising its money in Ethereum. And admitted by Richard, a duck, he admitted, friends, we're not going to speak it anywhere anymore. He basically said he sold the top in Ethereum and he rotated heaps of profits in. How much profits? We'll never know. We don't know how much of a profit. Was it a third? Was it half? Was it all? We don't know. Probably not all, because he probably wanted to get paid for it. So this is the real chart. Okay, this is the real chart. So look, I'll go back again. If you're looking at the Hex USD chart, you're seeing this thing going up and to the right. Okay, that's all you're seeing. You're like, wow, look at this up and to the right. But actually, what you're seeing here is mostly Ethereum gains. And if you want to see the Ethereum gains, you look at Hex ETH again. And as you can see, oh, that's different. You see, there's like up here, it ranges. You see, Hex, friends, could never break its range until, look what happens here. Bitcoin and Ethereum top out here. And people were selling because like, oh, okay, the Bitcoin, here we go. And then what happens is, someone magically starts pumping it, okay? And they start pumping it up and you get to see the real move. Now, this is where the plan really comes into play because he's trying to take over the industry. And when I show you this, it's a really good idea. So Hex is really thin. Everybody has paper gains. As you can see, yeah, they really were paper because there's not enough liquidity and the value proposition could not hold up over time so far. It's been almost 3 years since the top, down 98.5%. Not a store of value. It's basically a DeFi leverage altcoin, okay? So what ends up happening is Ethereum goes up, he sells the top, and he starts smacking it up. Now, around here was the PulseChain sacrifice. So, probably wondering, like, why was it done in this way? Why pump it up in the first place? You're probably wondering, like, why didn't he do the sacrifice first and then pump? Why did he not do it later on? Why this timing? And it was a very, very good ambition here. So, the theory was he knows not everybody can cash out from Hex because of liquidity. Okay, and if you really want to know the real numbers, friends, you remove the origin address, only about 1%. It's the same as many other coins. Only like 1 to 2% can actually cash out in any moment. So you need liquidity and punters and buyers and more people to network effect over time to trade it and stuff to kind of you get fueled over time. All right, so basically at the top, I mean, like, let's forget the top, right? If you even went back when Hex was, let's say, 100 million market cap, 100 million market cap, which is very much lower than the top, or even 100 million, 500 million, you can only get out like, 1 to 10 million-ish, okay, of actual money at that low point. So if you were to do the sacrifice, it's suboptimal. Why? Because Richard Hart wanted PulseChain to take over the industry. He wanted it to be a solidable force and everything. He wants to be like, really strong. So to maximize the valuation, what he did was, he goes, well, if everyone's going to sacrifice their Hex, because that's where most people's wealth is in the ecosystem, right? Most people's wealth is in Hex. To boost it and the valuations for PulseChain, to make it like a huge valuation, what he's going to do is he sold the top and he pumped up Hex. So effectively, he inflated everyone's market cap. Now, here's the thing. When you sacrificed for PulseChain here, which was, the Hex price around 14 cents or whatever. When you sacrifice for PulseChain here, that Hex would not get sold. And it accumulated an enormous amount, like 550 million Hex, something huge amounts, okay? Huge amount, 550 million or a billion. A lot of Hex was soaked up. So the strategy was, clearly, if everybody puts in their Hex, which they do, that's where their wealth is, right? Most people's wealth came from the Hex. That will never get sold. It won't impact the price. But you will get points for that Hex. So even though if, let's say there is literally 100 people put in $1 million, and they pretty much did. There's 100 people put in $1 million into Hex at that point. If they came to sell, it would drop it down 80%, 80, 85%, slip, right? But they didn't. They put it in. So these 100 people all think they have paper gains. All right, it's all their gains. They go, well, it's real, it's strong, it's crypto's a future. We're winning. Okay, so they all put it in, and it doesn't get sold. So they all get the same points, right? Now, the plan was, right, why do we pump it up? So you're probably wondering, like, why was it pumped up after? And why during this period is to do that? It's because when people, this is the theory, right? See those 100 people? They are all sacrificing $1 million each into PulseChain. The theory is that because they all chose to sacrifice $1 million each, that they will now value the floor of PulseChain a minimum of their $1 million. Okay, so I'll repeat that again. So because everybody threw in their money, all right, and it's all paper gains, they all incorrectly thought that when they inserted the money in, that there's now a floor for the whole ecosystem. Okay, Richard probably thought he knew this too. He's like, well, thought this. Okay, so he thought, well, look, all these people are throwing in money. They could have sold it though. So they're actually really sacrificing. Because in his mind, he's like, well, whether they sacrificed a house or stocks or gold or Bitcoin, it doesn't matter what it is. The dollar amount matters. So the theory, once again, the theory was whether someone sacrificed a Bitcoin for $1 million, right? Whatever how many Bitcoin it was, 50 Bitcoin or 30 Bitcoin, or $1 million worth of Hex, they are the same. Okay, that was the theory. Didn't turn out like that. Because what we end up seeing is the market always comes for your souls. Okay, it's all about buying low, friends. It's all about buying early. You have to get in when you don't have euphoria. When people are bearish on anything, that's how you know you're getting a cheap price. So in this circumstance, you can see Richard's plan, right? He's like, well, if I rotate the profits in and we smash it up, all these people have paper gains. You have 100 people here with $1 million, friends. There's literally 100 people. They could sell for $1 million. Therefore, they will value and treat the PulseChain like that precious $1 million each. And that's how you have $100 million added to the market cap. However, the plan did not go too well because as we see, what ends up happening is we drop below SAC bang, people are happy to sell at 66, 70%. And by the way, this same principle can be applied to PulseX here. It's the same thing for PulseX, friends. PulseX, it still drops 80, 90%. By the way, a lot of you say, what about the corrupt SEC? No. PulseX was still down minus 70%, 73% below the corrupt SEC. Corrupt SEC is this candle here. So PulseX was already down 73%. So I hope this is kind of making sense now. You're like, oh my gosh. Basically, the theory, right? Because we thought it would work. We thought it was like so logically 100% not going to fail. The theory was, okay, people putting in $1 million worth of Bitcoin or $1 million worth of a house or $1 million worth of a stock or $1 million worth of cash, it's the same as people putting in $1 million worth of HEX. Here was the thing though. That valuation for HEX was so short-lived when they sacrificed it that they did not equate it to $1 million. So everyone can have a different theory about why it didn't work out like that, and we'll play some nice gentle angel music for them because I encourage this type of discussion because you think, well, did it fail because he pumped it up too quick? That could be a reasonable thing, friends, because look when he started pumping it. He started pumping it. Basically, look, if we go, let's check the HEX USD chart. Okay, if you look at the HEX USD chart, you just see how fast things went. And this was the PulseChain sacrifice here. Let's show you that. Okay, so these people, right, and also PulseX too. So that's why you can even see with PulseX. So he basically, from here, you had HEX was like 1 cent. And then they basically went from 1 cent. They were given like a 14x and like became like the 50x. It became like really fast. Okay, really fast. So one thing to ponder is like, I wonder if that happened too quick. Maybe you didn't give them enough time to really let it sink in, soak in that they have $1 million worth of value there. Maybe to them it was just a fluke. See, here's the thing. They would have, friends, you can't look at everybody's language and words because if you go back during the streamers and stuff, they said, we've won. You're all stupid. This is never going to fail. Mathematically programmed to go up 2x every 90 days. Wrong. Everyone got it wrong. Okay, you can't listen to their words. They all say it's the most valuable thing on earth. You can't listen to it like that. You have to look at the facts. The facts are, you go, okay, you were a nobody 9 months ago. Now, digital candles go up. Now you think you're somebody. Okay, that's pretty much it. You basically won on this coin, but you're not getting out. You're a lot of a mistake long-term and stuff. So it's something to wrestle with in your mind. You go, did it happen too fast? So that's why only he knows. Only Richard knows for the next cycle, right? Friends, for all we know, it's possible he learned this and the way he is going to distribute the Ethereum profits into PulseChain and PulseX and HEX and Inc and whatever, he could change his method of distribution now. Instead of swiping it all instantly in like a period of, look at this, friends, from literally May to, instead of this plan, by the way, you're wondering, why did he do it so quick? It's because he believed the Bitcoin top happened. So friends, yes, remember if you go back in time, Richard believed this was the Bitcoin top and we'll go into 12K. He thought it will do this chart. Instead, it came back and it broke the high. So what he thought is, he sells the top here, we go down here, he buys up HEX with this, and he believed for the next 6 months, Bitcoin would bottom out, which is 1 year after that top, what he thinks, and then we'll all continue up. That's what he thought would happen. Instead, there was an extension here, and then everything didn't go to plan. Basically, the market has to rinse no matter what you do, okay? So you get to see the timing of his stuff. So that's why a lot of us who believe that, okay, well, Richard's just going to pump the price and do it again. Yeah, he might, but he might do it differently now because he learned. He learned, he's like, okay, that thing didn't work last time, man. Like he might be saying, he goes, man, I'm basically his plan of, I'll go back, I'll show you HEX, right? His plan of pumping HEX in the hopes that when these people sacrifice, that they respect Pulse and PulseX with that value, that plan did not work. It did not turn out so true. Now, only he knows. Once again, only he's probably, he could have not even figured it out, but he could be, it's something just to think about, right? In his mind, he's like, well, maybe I can't make him rich in 4 months. Maybe I have to make him rich in a couple of years. I don't know. Okay. Now I'm not saying this is not carried on the stick talk or anything. Okay. I'm just telling you, maybe how he drags up the floor is more sustainable this time. That's something to think about. It's something to think about. Maybe he's like, I want to buy the dips and stuff, but or he just says, you know what, screw it, and at the end I'm pumping in 1.2 billion. Whatever happens after that happens. I'm done with this. So you never know, friends. That's why there is like this centralization risk, this central figure risk, and yeah, relying on one guy, pretty much it, friends. Just like you're in Tesla, you're relying on Elon Musk, even though they say no, we're self-sustainable, but you know the vision and stuff of everything changes. Okay, that's what you're here for. Okay. So now you get to see it happen in real time, okay? I get to show you what was the actual plan. The plan was, and the theory was, hey, everyone has this hex thing. If I pump it up and give everybody these paper gains, and that's Richard Hart talking. I'm talking Richard Hart. And Richard Hart convinced you, don't sell, but sacrifice. Okay? Don't sell, sacrifice. Don't go to the market. Don't click sell and sacrifice. He was basically equating them as the same thing. Sacrificing was the same as selling, as in you let go. See, logically, you'd think, yeah, it should mean the same thing, right? Because what I'm basically telling you, friends, is when Hex was like, when Hex is like, 30 cents, 40 cents, you could have sold for $1 million, or you could have sacrificed for the next thing, you know what I mean? And yes, basically, you end up letting go of something, right? So this is something you'll never ever truly get the answer to, and maybe he'll never tell you, because it basically has a lot of implications for there. It creates expectations. He probably doesn't want people talking about it. Maybe he hasn't even figured it out himself. Maybe he's in the process of figuring it out now, right? I don't know the answers to this. I don't know the answers, but I've been able to tell you the story of what happened, because you want to know, okay, how did this happen? How did we even get here? Well, that's how it got here, okay? You had a token, and by the way, friends, it's re-hypothecation stuff, okay? So just to tell you, this is not unique to finance, okay? You had an asset or a stock or a share, okay? All the paper gains got flushed up, and people used those paper gains in other stuff without a rinsing yet. So now you know, right? That's why I tell you, buy in the depression. Buy in the depression, buy cheap, buy low. That's it. Okay, that's pretty much when it comes down to it. And if something is pumped up in price, you shouldn't be sacrificed. You'd be literally selling. Okay, so now you learned a lot today, right? How is this experiment going to move forward? Experiment, right? Because it's all never been done before, yeah? Or kind of has, but not in crypto. So how do we move forward from this? You just don't know. It's basically, he's the billionaire, I'm not, and you're not the billionaire. But you're basically, yes, it's a captain's call decision now. Maybe he's weighted up. Maybe he's like, you know what? Here, friends, an example, I'll play some nice pump music for you, just so you understand this. Okay. Richard probably has looked at the crypto sphere and he's like, you know what? There's no point in me doing a parabolic pump, because I'll never be able to outcompete Dog with Hat. I'll never be able to outcompete Pepe. Dog with Hat did 200,000x. Pepe, 900,000x. He can't compete it at all, right? Right, because they start lower than him, and pretty much they're newer, and they start with smaller market cap. And he knows, friends. He can tell you market cap doesn't matter. He knows market cap matters. He knows, yeah, we can fake it in one or two scenarios, yeah, but go out there, friends. You know how the smaller market cap stuff goes absolutely nuts and keeps moving. And then yeah, look at things like XRP. Even look at PulseChain, PulseX, and Hex. Thicker market cap takes way longer to move. Look at the PulseChain altcoins, smaller market cap. Look how much they rocket. You understand? So yeah, market cap, of course, you can't trade it per se, but market cap refers to the size of people who could sell. That's pretty much it. The size of the people who could sell, who are in the circulating amount of the zeitgeist of the people who are able to click sell and actually move it around. Okay. So then you get to see, right, how's this going to play out? That's why he could have decided. He's like, maybe he goes, well, I'm not going to bother with that parabolic stuff anymore because I can't beat them. What I'm going to still do is keep building a higher floor over time. That could be it. That could be, but you don't know. You don't know. You're just in for the ride. But then there's also a risk, right? What if he tries that? And then what if we have a left translated cycle and we have a nuclear winter for 2 years? Your floor just gets crushed anyway. So then you have an experiment where you didn't pump up as much, but then you're just bleeding out with everyone else. And then everybody in the community is going to be in cope mode saying, oh, we didn't drop 85%. We only dropped 75%. Yeah, but those things that dropped 85%, they went up 150x. You only went up like 6. You see, that was XRP's cope, by the way, last cycle. They're like, oh, we only dropped 80%. Yeah, but bro, you guys, XRP/BTC ratio, you guys got crushed. You've been wasting your time for 7 years, pretty much, okay? So I've explained this to you just so you know, there are always these risks and uncertainties you don't know. Now, obviously, you want to know, what am I doing? What am I doing? Well, obviously, I'm long PulseChain PulseX and Hex, of course. I've got leverage on Hex, I'll leverage on all these. I'm in PulseChain ecosystem. I've done all the grassroots hard work. I don't know how far this goes, but I can tell you right now, we're in stuff. You already see it. As soon as Pulse starts going up, these things hyper react. You've seen it, friends. PDI, Teddy Bear, Troper, HOA, Dick with Butt. You know these things are smaller market cap, and people, there's product market fit within the community and out there. And there's going to be others. Yeah, I'll just name these off the top of my head. There's plenty of others out there. Okay. So even friends, SolidX, for example, like the guy himself has got like, 60 million bucks. If Richard pumps his bags up 10x, the guy's now got 600 million. Imagine the guy's now making $5 million a week off just another 10x. He's just going to be dumping all that ink just to buy. You know what I mean? He could. You don't know. It's a risk. It's a risk we all take, okay? Now you understand the story. There's risks and stuff. That's why if this thing works out, there's so many unknowns with this. And a lot of people, they run away from the unknown, okay? I run towards the unknown, okay? I run towards the unknown. I say, oh, the candles are really bad. Everyone's really sad. A lot of people say, oh, that's FUD. That's so FUD. No, it's not FUD, bro. Showing you a picture where things didn't work out. It's not like, oh, that's FUD. It is, hey, like maybe he figures out the next one. Maybe he figures out what's better next time. Maybe he waits long. That's what we don't know, friends. But look, Richard, though, he has a personality. He's got a behavior pattern where he doesn't do, like, you don't get excited anytime soon. Okay, you don't. It's more, if you usher it on the, if you were to lean on the side, it's less to do with let's pump up now, let's do good now. It's more towards no, I'll make you bleed out, I'll skin you upside down. You're getting crushed. I'll disappear, kind of come back, do these things. There's some gaslighting talk in there. That's more towards that pain. But is it worth it at the end of the day? I don't know. That's why these things are all risky. But I'll tell you right now, right? The fact that there are these risks, it means if it does work, the upside is a huge beach ball that's just been lifted out of the ocean. Pop. If it does work out there. Okay, by the way, I'm not 100% all in on it working. That's why you got the altcoins and stuff out there, and you got other stuff out there, and other ecosystems are going to be ready for depression and stuff, prices in anything else out there, okay? But now you understand it. Do you see how there's all this uncertainty? I know a lot of you are like, shaking. I'm like, yeah, sweet. That's awesome. I like that. Okay, I don't have this in BNB. I don't have any uncertainty in Phantom, in Corridanzo, in Arbitrum. I don't have any of this uncertainty. So if you don't have any uncertainty like that, it means your upside is much smaller at the very, very end, right? Your upside potential, okay? So you understand the parameters, okay? You have to make your decisions out there. I can't make a decision for everyone out there. I'll just tell you what I'm doing, friends. And yeah, over time, sit in the ecosystem, of course, but this is pretty much it. So I want you to you have now a bird's eye view of what he tried and what's going on. And yeah, a lot of people say, oh, well, he failed. No. Maybe he's going to tweak it and it's going to be better next time. I don't know. Okay, I guess we'll find out. The next bull market. Like, subscribe, bell button, all. Catch you soon.